Hello, today we are going to learn how to make our safety glass box. We are going to learn how to cut out all the pieces to make our sides and our ends, but we will not yet cut the pieces that will make our top or our bottom. And this, yes, will hold your handy dandy trusty little safety glasses. So here we go. The first thing that you want to do is you're going to take your piece of wood that you are given, piece of 1/2 inch Baltic birch, and what we're going to do is we're going to run it on the table saw, and it is going to cut a groove in it for our top and our bottom, and each time we run it on the saw we will run our groove twice, and then we will run this one twice so that we know that we have a nice even cut. So here we go. Make sure you have your push stick, turn the machine on. Each groove you run twice. Make sure you flip it around, keep it on an even plane. When you have completed running each one of your grooves twice through the table saw, you are ready to move on to the next step. So in the next step on making our safety glass box, we have to cut our two ends. And this blue line that we have marked on the chop saw is where you are going to set your piece of wood. The first thing that you will do is you will trim one end, and then after you trim that end, you will then slide it so that you are just on the inside edge of that blue line. Now you'll be ready to cut your pieces. So here we go. So the first thing, set it up so that you're going to trim. Remember to hold the blade down until it stops. Lift it up, and now I'm going to put my end right on the front edge of my blue line, and I have to cut two ends. Take that piece, set it here, scoot down, taking your time so that you get it set up just right. Now the one thing that you need to make sure that you do is before you move on is make sure that your two ends are the same size. And as long as you know that they're the same size, you're ready to move on. If not, come and let me know and I'll help you out so that we make them even. So now you have your two end pieces, so we're going to set those over here. You're going to take the end that you have just trimmed and cut that end over on the other chop saw, and now you are going to take it with your grooves still down and you are going to butt it up against the stop block. Now you are going to cut two pieces to make up your sides. After you finish that cut, move this over with your ends, slide the other piece down so that it touches against your stop block, and then cut that one down. Make sure that you hold the machine down until the blade comes to a dead stop, and then you have your four pieces to continue working on your box. Take your small piece of scrap and throw it in the strategically placed garbage can. So now we have cut our pieces where we have our two ends, same length, two sides, same length. So take your two end pieces, set them off to the side, and now you're going to be working with your two sides. With the grooves down, you are going to now run it through this table saw that has a 1/2 inch dado head set up so that we can cut into it our rabbet joint on both ends of our sides. So when you do this, you are going to grab on to your miter gauge and you are going to get it so that your 3 fingers are holding on to the piece of wood nice and firm up against your miter gauge, your index finger down, and then take your right hand and push it down so that you're just on the outside of that red throat plate. And then what we're going to do is we're going to run it through a couple of times each end so that we make sure that we get a nice even cut. So here we go. Know that you have cut all the way because you no longer see your grooves along this rabbet joint. Now I'm going to run my other end, making sure that my grooves stay down the entire time. And make sure that each of your passes are nice and slow. So once again, I have removed my lines from my grooves. Grooves go down as you run it. Keep it on the same plane and spin it around. Just make sure before you finish this that you have removed the grooves from your rabbeted ends that you have just created. Make sure you turn the machine off when you have finished the process. So now we have reached the next step of the building our safety box process, and that is to drill the pilot holes on the end of our long sides so that we will have a way to set our nails in. There are these 2 pencil lines, and so what we're going to do is I am going to set it up first so that I am right on this pencil line, and then I am going to drill a hole, and then I have a second pencil line that after I finish I will then slide over so that this side of my side is ready to drill. And I will drill 2 holes, flip it around, set it up off of my line, drill 2 holes, scoot it over so that this edge is now on this second line, and drill my holes. So here we go. So turn my machine on, set it up. I put it up firmly up against my little fence. Set it up so I'm right on my pencil line, and just go as far as the drill press will allow me to go, holding your material down. Scoot it over. Make sure that you clean this out each time. Slide it over so now this edge is up against this line, firm up against the fence, right on your line. Flip it around end for end, keeping it nice and clean. Sliding it over to my other pencil line. You will also repeat that process on this side. I've just showed you how to do this one. You will now finish this one. There are no holes being drilled on the ends. So now you have all of your pieces. Now we're at the bandsaw, and our next step is to cut 1 groove off of one end. So take your 2 sides and your other end, set them off to the side. You can only use the small bandsaw. And what you're going to do is we have set up a little fence, and so you're just going to grab onto your material, hold it up against the fence, and I am just going to slowly walk it through so that I can cut that groove off. And that is where our top will slide in and out. So turning the machine on. Make sure that you turn your machine off and allow it to come to a dead stop before you go after that small piece of wood. And then you have now cut your one groove off of your one end so that your top has the ability to slide in and out. So there we go. Make sure that you throw your little piece of wood into a strategically placed garbage can.